Well, hello everyone. Happy Monday. Happy first day of March. It's amazing that it's already March. Spring is on its way. First and foremost, I would like to thank you for taking the time to join us. My name is Matthew Maurer here at Coastal Business Supplies, and today I'm joined by our friends at Epson America, who will be providing us with an overview and demonstration of the Epson Edge Print RIP software for wide format Epson printers. On the webinar today, we've got Paul Morales. Hello, Paul.
Hello, everyone. Welcome.
Hey, he's joining us from sunny Southern California. We also have Morgan Lynn here, down south in the Lone Star State.
Hey, Morgan. How you guys doing? Hey, how are you?
Hey. I also have Darcy Jeffrey Anderson. She's with our Coastal Professional Solutions team here. Hello, Darcy.
Hello, everyone.
All right, so today, as you know, we're going to be talking about Epson Edge Print RIP. And with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Paul.
Great. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Darcy. Welcome, everyone. As they mentioned, my name is Paul Morales. I am here in sunny Carson, California, in the Epson Technology Center. And we're really excited to talk a little bit about the Epson Edge Print software and how that can help you drive your business. So starting off, I just wanted to give you sort of a quick overview. I'm standing in front of our F-Series line. So we have a 9470H here. We also have a 6370. And then in the corner there, we have a 570 printer. So these are the types of printers that can be utilized and will come packaged with Epson Edge Print. So this will be a software that will be provided to you at no additional cost when you purchase these printers. And you'll be able to use this software for a number of things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to step off camera. I'm going to pull up my screen, and then we're going to go through just a quick overview of the software, show you how this can help drive your business, and show you really all of the benefits and advantages that you will have with this software versus using your print driver. So I'm going to step off camera, and let's take a quick look. All right, so I'm actually going to, let's start with a little clean slate here. And this is what our Epson Edge Print software looks like. So it's a very intuitive, easy design. It's a very small learning curve to get started. Now, you can hook up multiple printers to this software. If you take a look in the bottom left-hand corner, I have several printers that I can choose from, and I can load different jobs and different types of files in each one of these kind of print queues right here. So starting with our 6370 printer, let's just add a file in here, and then we can go through the different options and features that Epson Edge Print provides so that you can see how you can utilize this over a print driver to help you with your production. So we have a nice big add button, and this is going to add our job. And let's start with these St. Patrick's Day socks right here. So we're going to click open. We can click on it, and once we click on it, we get a nice big preview over here of our print file. Now I have these magnification buttons that I can actually zoom out, and you can see we're on a 44-inch printer, so this white area represents the actual roll of paper that's coming out of the machine. So it's very easy for me to see what I'm working with, and we can see that this ends at the 44-inch wide margin. So very convenient from a layout standpoint. If you are familiar with printing in the print driver and you want to nest multiple copies, well, that's a bit of a challenge because you're going to have to copy and paste over and over again. You're going to have a much larger print file, and that's going to tend to slow the print down and slow the printer down as a result. And the advantage of having this type of application is I can drop in one file and I can set multiple copies, or I can even add multiple files together. We can combine them on one print without having to make a new art file in our design software. So very convenient from that standpoint. Now, on the right-hand side of this program, we have different icons that will control different aspects of how the job is printed. So for a brand new user, the easiest thing to do is to start at the top and work your way down. And so that's what we're going to do here. So we're going to start with job info, and job info is going to give you some brief details on the job that you have pulled in, the size that it's built at, maybe what print profiles and parameters that you're choosing. It will give you a little thumbnail preview. If you look up here, we have a quick set option. We're going to talk a little bit more about that later. A quick set is basically a method of creating your own preset with all the different custom parameters on these different icons here. So when you load a new file, they will open up with those settings. So now if we take a look at our basic settings, here we have control over what type of roll we're printing on. In this case, we have a 44-inch roll. What's nice is I can click on this button here, and it will actually read the roll that is loaded on my printer. So if I've already loaded a 44-inch roll, or maybe I have a 24-inch roll that I'm trying to use up for some smaller orders, I can just click that button, and then it will register the roll width from the printer, and then it will populate that right in the software. Now the media name, I can choose the different types of transfer papers that I'm printing on, depending on my application. So just kind of briefly touching on that, there are adhesive transfers, paper that are designed for fabrics, and there's also more photo type of transfer paper if you're doing rigid applications like transferring onto metal or any hard surfaces. So we can choose all of those options right in here. There's nothing additional you have to do from a file preparation standpoint. So you set up your file one time, and that one file can be used under any one of these papers or color settings. In addition to that, once we click on our paper setting, we now have all of the different options for choosing the different print modes that we have. So similar to a print driver where you have your standard quality, your high quality, your highest quality, now we have that from a simple pull down list, and we know exactly what we're getting. So very convenient from that standpoint. And then we also have some basic controls here for bidirectional printing and so on. Now, looking at the layout is kind of where the magic happens. So this is where I'm able to set as many copies as I want. I can rotate jobs. I can do all sorts of different things from this window. So if I know I need to print multiple socks, well, it's just as simple as clicking on this button. Or if I know that I need to print 6 pairs of socks, I can type in the number 6, and then now I have 6 pairs of socks. And the beauty of this is going to take the same amount of time to process as it would if I was just printing 1 pair of socks. So very clear and distinct advantage over the print driver. Right off the bat, I have the ability to add as many copies as I want. I can print socks until I'm done with my entire roll of paper if I want to. So below here, after we've chosen our copies, we can see the size of our print. We can see that since we're working with sublimation, that all of our images are going to be mirrored. And we can also choose some different arrangement options. So for those of you that are familiar with Adobe Illustrator and Corel Draw, there are different arrangement options when you have files on your screen so that you can have an even number of spacing. You can have it centered on your artboard. Well, we have those same controls here in Edge Print. So if I want to simply center this on my roll, I can click on that button right there, and then nice and easy, I have all of my copies right in the center. I have even amount of paper on the left and right hand side. I can also specify the amount of spacing in between these copies as well, and then we can redistribute them just like that. And then we can go ahead and recenter that. So nice and easy, quick, intuitive controls, very easy to understand, and all here at your convenience. We can also rotate the files if we need to. So if you find that if you rotate an image and you can fit more items across the roll of paper, then you can certainly do so as well. Now, taking a look at our next section, our color settings. So color settings, here is where we have full control over how the color is processed. So you're probably familiar with opening files from customers versus opening files that you've created. You may sometimes get a prompt that, hey, the ICC profile for this particular art file does not match your working space. What would you like to do? Well, you can manage that in your design application, or you can also manage that here. So if you have embedded profiles in your print files and you would like to keep that information, then we can simply check this box and then off we go. But if we want to use a little bit more control over how the color is processed, then we can actually do that within our color settings here. So we have different CMYK profiles that we can choose between as our starting point. If you're working in RGB color space, maybe you're printing some photos, we can also choose our RGB color space. And then we can also choose our rendering intent. Now, in layman's terms, rendering intent is essentially how are the colors that are out of gamut handled when you print. So if you're trying to get really poppy, rich, saturated color, the closest representation of the color you're trying to print, relative colorimetric's a great option. If you're dealing with photographs and you want kind of a more neutral, realistic type of look, perceptual rendering intent is great for that. There's a lot more options involved onto this screen, so you really have a lot of control in terms of how the color comes out. And that's another great feature with this software is you also have the ability for color replacements. So if you're working with a vector graphic or line art and you have different spot colors that you want to produce, you can actually select those inside your design software, and the Edge Print software will read those. So in this case of printing these St. Patrick's Day socks, we've added a couple of Pantone colors within our design software, and you can see that they are listed right over here. Now, what I can do in addition to that is I can click on that color, and so this Pantone 347C appears to be the light clover here, and I can see what ink values EdgePrint is actually using to produce that. So I can see I'm about 51% on my cyan ink, about 71% on my yellow ink. What's more is if I print that out and I determine, you know what, I need maybe a little bit more cyan to bump up the green. Well, I can click on this edit button right here, and without having to go back to my design file, change my color value, or pick a new Pantone color, I can do that right in the program right here. So if I want to bump up my cyan a little bit, let's say we want to go up to 60, we can do that right off the bat. And just like that, we have the color changes right on the screen. We can print it out, and then we can check our result, and then we can go from there. For those of you that have a spectrophotometer or a device that you can use for measuring spot colors or creating your own profiles, you can connect that with the EdgePrint software and you can actually measure a color. So let's say you have a customer that supplies you with a printed piece and they want you to match that color. Well, you can take that color, you can measure it with the color measurement here, and then you can plug those values into the color that you're trying to print within your file, all from this color replacement screen. And you'll get a very close representation of that measured color when you do this process. But in addition to that, if you, let's say, don't have quite the exact color that you want, and you want to get maybe a little bit more of a variation to that, well, we can click on this output color adjustment chart, and based on the values that we're starting with, now we can create different colored patches, and we can choose how much of a variation we want those colored patches to be. And what's great about this particular function is now the EdgePrint software is going to print you a bunch of different swatches with this starting color value, and it will enable you to pick the exact color you want. And once you have that color, you'll have those values printed on that sheet. You'll be able to plug them right into this same screen, and then now you're done. So this is going to save a tremendous amount of time from a color matching standpoint in terms of not having to go back to your design file, edit your color, resave, and then now you have to reprocess and print. You don't have to do any of that anymore. It can all be done within the EdgePrint software. So very convenient to be able to do that. And then down below the color replacement, we have some simple options if we want to create crop marks. In this case, for sublimation, not necessarily useful, but if you were printing, let's say, signage or photographs or rigid substrates and you want to know where your edge is to trim, or maybe you have a white background and you're not quite sure what size to cut it out. Well, you are able to add crop marks right within the EdgePrint software, again, without having to go back to your design file and adding that in. In addition to that, we can click on our job label, and it's a little bit small on the screen, but the job label will print different information along with that file. So this is great to attach onto maybe a work order or to save as a hard copy proof. And that way you'll remember and have all of your settings. So if you have to reprint this job in a month or two, and you've already removed it from the EdgePrint software, you'll have all of that information at your disposal, and then you'll be able to kind of pick up right where you left off. So very convenient to have those options in here as well. Now, if we take a look at the crop window, the crop window is really great if, let's say I receive an image from a customer and I'm trying to determine, did they give me a logo that has enough resolution for me to print at the size they require? Well, maybe in the case of these socks, it's this leprechaun image right here. And if I don't want to print the entire job and use up all of that ink and paper just to check for one little logo, I can use this crop feature and I can actually scale this down just to the area that I need. So this would be similar to taking your image back in Photoshop or whichever design application you use, cropping it down and resaving it. Now I don't have to do that. I can simply do that right in Edge Print. I can print the area I want, check my color, and then once I have everything that I like, I can just simply uncheck that box, and then now I'm ready to print my entire file. So very convenient to do that. The tiling is more for when you're doing outdoor signage, step and repeat. This is kind of something that you would use if you were printing backdrops or curtains or any type of wall covering, and you have a small image that you want tiled many, many, many times to cover that whole area. We can utilize the step and repeat for that. Now, we talked a little bit earlier about nesting multiple files together. So I'm going to show you how we can do that. So let's say I just need to print a few pairs of socks like this, and we're going to zoom out so that we can see what we're looking at. Okay, so I have my 3 pairs of socks. I'm going to go ahead and add another file here, and let's add the St. Patrick's Day koozies, because we have an order for 3 socks, and then now we have an order for multiple koozies. So I can set the number of copies that I want, similar fashion like this. And now if I want to print both of these together, I can simply hold the Shift key on my keyboard, and I can click on this second file, and then now I'm going to click the Nest button up here. And when I click on the Nest button, you can see that now on the left-hand side, we now have a nesting job. And when I click on this arrow here, I can see all of the files that are contained within that job. So now I'm able to print all of these together without any pause or interruption in the printer. I don't have to process 2 separate files. This is very convenient if you have, let's say, 10 different files you need to print. Well, in the print driver, you have 2 options. You can A, print these one at a time, or B, you can make a really large artboard, 44 inches by whatever size you need, drop all of your images into one file, and then now you have to save and process and print a very large file. So again, this is a really convenient way to combine and nest our jobs together. Now, one other cool feature, and we talked a little bit about this at the beginning, and that is the quick sets right here. So I'd like to show you what the quick sets are. So let's say that we like all of the settings that we have on each of these screens. So I'm going to be using this paper all day with this print quality mode. And every file that I want to print from here on out for the rest of the day, I want to start with these options. I don't want to have to choose them every time. So we can use the quick set for that. So what we can do is we can go up here to our tool menu, and then we can scroll down to Manage Preset. And when we click on that, we have all of our print profiles, but we can also click on quick sets right here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to click on our Add button, and then now we're going to make a new quick set. So let's just call this one St. Patrick's Day, and we'll click OK. And once we click OK, you can see now we have our St. Patrick's Day quick set, or preset, if you will. And I can choose my paper and my print quality right from this screen. So we're using our Epson DS Transfer multi-purpose paper for fabric. And I want to print on my 720 by 720 high quality mode. So we can choose that. And all the other screens that we went over in terms of the layout, the color settings, we can go through all of those as well. I can even say every file that I want to come in, I want it to print 2 copies. I can set all of that here. I can choose my orientation. I can have everything that I do opening in here automatically centered as well. So very convenient to be able to have that. So once we click OK, we can see that we now have this on our list, and then we can close out of this window. So how do we choose that quick set? Well, when we click on add and we're ready to add a new job, so let's say we need to do these face masks here. Before I click on the open button, just to the left of that, I have quick sets. And when I click on quick sets, you can see now we have the new setting that we just created. So when I choose St. Patrick's Day as my quick set, any file that I open will now open with those parameters. So you can see when I click on that, the image is already centered. We have the paper that I wanted to use, and then we also have the print quality mode that I wanted to use as well. So very quick, very easy to set the jobs, choose the information that you need, and off and run for printing. Now, what I'd like to do now is I'd like to give you just kind of a quick walkthrough of our technology center over here, just to give you kind of a little idea of what we're working on here, show you kind of a simulated production environment and just some of the capabilities that Edge Print can help you do. So we're going to switch cameras here in just a moment. So just taking a look on the right-hand side, so we're in our F-Series room, so you can see we have a Epson 570 printer here, and then we have a few heat presses in here as well. This is a 6370 that we've printed kind of a short sock run, so that's just really quick and easy how that's going to look coming out of Edge Print. This is our 9470H printer, running a bunch of koozies over here as well. And then we have some heat press. We also have some DTG equipment over here. And then this is kind of taking a quick look at some different sublimation products. And let's take a look actually at the socks that we printed. So you can take a look. Nice, good, smooth quality. Picks up the Pantone colors within our file. Nice, sharp detail as well. Now, from a processing standpoint, Edge Print is going to be able to process the file information much quicker than your system driver will be able to. And so what that translates to is your print is going to start much sooner from the RIP program when you're processing it versus having to do a print driver and kind of wait for it to go through the motions there. So it's definitely going to help speed up your production, and it's going to allow you the convenience of combining and nesting files together. It will give you plenty of color control, so you can control exactly how all of your color is output. And of course, you have the spot color capability if you need to change spot colors on the fly, modify colors as you need to. So very intuitive, very easy to learn. What you saw here is exactly what you get with the F-Series products. And so what I'd like to do is I want to kind of show some of the finished products that we've produced with this. So I'd like to pass it over to Darcy, who has some stuff ready on her end, and then we can kind of take a look at some koozies and some other things. So Darcy, if you're ready, I'd like to hand it off over to you.
Hi, Paul. Thank you. Wow, that was very informative, and the chats have been going crazy. Shout out to Todd, your coworker there. Todd jumped in and started answering questions for us to keep up. So thank you, Todd.
Oh, terrific. Yes, thanks, Todd.
Yeah, it's good to have good coworkers, isn't it?
Sure
so,
is.
Yeah, here's the koozie that Paul printed earlier. We also printed it here off of RF5. Let's see, I think we used our F6370 when we made our koozies. So fun ones. And we did some other fun drinkware with the 570. All right. I think Todd again has done a great job. Thanks again, Todd, joining us and helping us with our chats today. I've learned a lot, and Paul, you're just awesome, very knowledgeable, and I'm glad that we've been able to partner with you.
Likewise, thank you.
Yeah. Todd is giving you a lot of hard time, Paul. So if there's any other questions or anything we can help answer for you guys, if there's any other webinars that you guys would like for us to do, we are always open for suggestions. We are here to help you guys be more successful in your printing world. So feel free to let us know. We love the feedback. Matthew?
I hopped on just to say the exact same thing. If you have any ideas for webinars, if you'd like to see us collaborate again with Epson, we love doing these. So either shoot us an email, darcy@coastalbusiness.com, matthew@coastalbusiness.com, message us on Instagram, on Facebook, call us, whatever, let us know.
Yep.
With
We're
that,
here.
I wanted to thank everyone again for joining us. Really appreciate your time. Wanted to also thank Paul here for his time and awesome presentation. Morgan as well. And Todd, again, for answering some questions there. And of course, Darcy, thank you for your time. And with that, I think we'll wrap things up. Anything else?
Yep. It's Monday. You got a great week in front of you. Do the most with it.
We're ready to get March started. Thank you, everyone, so much for joining us.
Yes. Thank you. Have a great week.
Have a wonderful day.